Hello. Excuse me. Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Just getting myself comfortable. I should have got myself a brew, shouldn't I? Right, Charlie, come on then. What do you do now? Hi, Katie. Hi, Jessica. How are you? I'm just waiting for my daughter to get a finger out, chat with Charlie. So, I've known for a little... Oh, wants to be in your video. Right, what do I do? Press that. Is that going to work? Approve. Let's see if it works. Adding, I'm rubbish with technology. So rubbish. Hi, Olivia. Hi, Sue. Charlie, why is it not adding you? Adding. How long does this take? Is it my internet rubbish? Hi, Sarah. Hi, Liz. We'll get there. We'll figure it out. She'll send me a message on here if I've done something wrong. Anyway, I just wanted to introduce you to my daughter, Charlie. I was very young when I had her, so she's not really young having her baby. Charlie, why is it taking like ages for you to come on? Do I have to do something else? Approve. Oh. Oh. What do we do, Charlie? Right. Approve. Oh. Did you approve? Right. Hello. Hi. Hi, Charlie.
Hello. Hello everyone.
This is Charlie, my daughter. Been reluctant, haven't you, to say?
Yeah.
So anyway, how's it going? How many weeks now? 15?
16 tomorrow.
16 tomorrow.
Yeah. So I've been told apparently from 16 weeks that's when you can start to maybe feel it moving.
Well, by 20 weeks, so don't worry if you can't feel anything, at the moment. I reckon you probably won't. You might feel something, but if you've had a baby before, you're more likely to be able to feel something a bit earlier. So,
a friend for her first baby said she felt something about 17 weeks, but she said it felt like popcorn popping in her tummy.
Oh!
So I don't know if that's a thing, but when people talk about flutters, I feel like that's quite a hard sensation to imagine. Like, how do you tell the difference between that and just like normal tummy gargles?
It's a bit like normal tummy gargles. Anyway, so Charlie, my daughter, isn't she doesn't live in the same trust as I work. Hiya, Faith. All right, we've been right busy this week, but it's been all right. So I can't see Charlie at the moment because she's somewhere else, about an hour and a half's drive away and in a different trust. But she's been phoning me and telling me what's been going on, and obviously, you'll know when you know, Charlie. That's what Lisa says. You'll know. It is a... Hi, Sarah. Hi, Lisa. It is a bit like, when you've got wind and you can feel it wiggling round. It is a little bit like that. But then as baby gets bigger, you'll start knowing that that's your baby moving. So, Charlie phoned me, or did I phone you back yesterday?
Oh, yeah, you rang me back yesterday.
You was having a bit of a moment, weren't you, and getting yourself a bit upset.
Yeah.
So, why do you think you were getting upset yesterday?
Well, I think aside from the hormones, I feel like it's been quite difficult, I think, like during this pregnancy, because I think just for anyone that gets pregnant during a pandemic anyway, you're obviously going to have a different experience to what's classed as normal. But I think what's harder is obviously when it's your first time you don't really know what normal is. And unless you've got somebody, you know, like your midwife or, you know, whoever's looking after you kind of telling you, this is what you should expect, this is what will happen, you're kind of in the dark. And I feel like the pandemic especially has kind of heightened that, because, you know, people are more stretched, so they probably aren't spending as much time with people. And yeah, and I think I've just probably got like the back end of that. So I know my experience probably isn't like what everyone experiences, but I've just been really surprised at how disappointed I've been with certain things. And obviously speaking to you when I'm telling you, oh, this has happened, that's happened, is it normal? And you, like, you know, obviously anyone that knows you knows you can't hide shock on your face very well. So yeah, it's obviously been difficult when somebody that you know and trust to do a very good job at what they do is telling you, no, that's not how it should be done, or no, that's not normal, or no, that's completely abnormal. Yeah, so it has been a weird a weird 16 weeks, I'm not gonna lie.
So did you, when you first did your booking, did you get one of these?
Yeah, so I went in, I think it was like I think we were maybe like 7 weeks, and that's when I got that. So yeah, we had quite a good booking experience. So I think we were there for about an hour and a half, and I say we, like Mike was able to come, and I know obviously not everyone's been in that position, like depending on which trust they've been in. And I think that makes all the difference as well, do you know, when you have someone else there, because I struggle to take a lot of the information in that's just being spoken at you.
Yeah.
And you just, yeah. But a lot of the time, like, I'd come out of that appointment and Mike was like, oh, do you remember when she said this? Or do you remember when she said that? And I'd be like, no, didn't even hear that.
So do you know, can you remember some of the things that you weren't sure about, or you forgot, or what was too much?
So things, I guess, like the timelines of stuff, I don't think we kind of spoke about that. The thing that she mentioned was I'd have my scan, my 12-week scan at a hospital. So I'm actually at a birth centre, which obviously I know not a lot of people have both those options, but I'm just where I am. I'm lucky that I do. So they'd said, you know, wherever we can't fit you in, we'll just put you through to the hospital. So my scan was already booked at the hospital. She said, right, when you have your scan, you come out and you'll get your notes, and your additional appointment will be, your next appointment will be on the back of those notes. So obviously whatever your midwife tells you in that appointment, that's the first bit of information you get, and really any deviation from that makes you worry. So obviously they do like my bloods, and like obviously no one will really know thyroid, so I get my bloods done quite regularly, and they really struggle to get blood out of me at my booking appointment, and that started a whole other fiasco, which I'm sure you're going to ask me about.
Because there's been a progression of that scenario, hasn't there? So I personally, as a midwife, think that it's really important to know the name of your named midwife, because even though sometimes, so I've got me and Faith, the other midwife, who's at my surgery, and we've got our caseload of women who we're the named midwife for, but it doesn't mean that we can always see all our ladies all of the time, because there might be some instances when I've been called out in the night. So a clinic that I might have been scheduled to do the next day, somebody else covers. So I always tell my ladies, you know, it's usually me and Faith, but if you see a kind of a random midwife that you don't recognise, it'll just be somebody covering the clinic, and or say me or Faith are off, or somebody's off sick or whatever, then they'll get somebody else to cover the clinic, but they're not your named midwives. So I don't know how it is. I think you need to chat to them about how they manage their caseload and whether you have a named midwife, because from what you've told me, you've had every man and his dog involved in your care, and you don't seem to know if you've got a named midwife. You know, I think you might have a named midwife that you think it might be, but you're not sure and you haven't got any of the details written down. Is that right?
Yeah, so I think the one that we saw at week 7 said, I'm your midwife, I'm a caseloading midwife, so literally what you've just said. But I've been back, I think, 4 times since and never seen her again. And I don't know if that's just chance.
So have you seen the
But yeah,
same midwife twice? How many contacts have you had?
it's been different every single time. But yeah, like I say, in that first appointment, when you're told I'm going to be the person, and like literally just what you've just said, so you might see people occasionally different if I'm not around, but every single time it's been different. So
It's
yeah.
difficult, and it's difficult in busier areas, and I know different trusts work differently, but I know that that's been a big source of stress for you. And I know you've been chatting to me about the bloods, so the booking bloods. So basically what's happened with the booking bloods is that you went and they did the bloods at I never had a named midwife, saw someone different every time. It's so hard. Me and Faith are really, really lucky. We're a really good team, and we're really lucky that we try so hard. I always saw you or the other midwife, whose name escapes me. It was nearly 4 years ago. It will have been either Rachel, Becky, or Danielle. So we're really, where I work, I am really proud that that is something that is really high on my priority list. And obviously when I go away for 2 weeks, then I'm not going to be covering those clinics, and other people are, but I just think it's so important to know actually where you stand. So if people know that, you know, if there's somebody else, it's just because I'm not working on that day, you know, because it's really important to build a therapeutic relationship with your midwife, because you are up and down with your hormones. You're really up and down with your hormones, and you know, sometimes you have good days, but sometimes you have bad days, and sometimes you're anxious and sometimes you're worried, and your midwife will get to know what's normal for you, you know.
Yeah, I think a big part of it as well is like definitely, you know, as a first time mum, like you are going to have certain like anxieties and need probably a lot more reassurance and somebody who's already been through that. So when I was talking to Mike about it, we were kind of like, look, it's about somebody building confidence with you and somebody building trust with you. And I think it's you know, when it can be quite like disorientating when somebody starts to damage that trust, because actually you're not talking about somebody selling you a phone contract and then it not turning out to be the price that it was. You're talking about putting your trust in somebody that's there to deliver your baby. So
Well,
I think it's a big thing, and it might not, I think the impression I feel like is very much like, you know, for somebody like you or any other midwife, it's not a big deal because you see people like me every single day. But to me, I see you once in a blue moon, and it is a very big deal to me. And I feel like that kind of gets lost.
I think you're
Definitely.
right. And one of the things that I wanted to chat with you on here, and I know you think this is really weird that I'm talking to you on this Facebook Live, but I think it's really important for people like you to talk frankly. And obviously I can talk to you as my daughter, you know, but it's really important to remind us as midwives, because we do see lots of ladies, but we should never forget how special it is. And especially if, you know, you've had your own babies, and you know, you never forget how wonderful and exciting it is when you're working up to, you know, going wherever you've chosen to have your baby. Totally agree. So important to trust them, as it is, Becky. It is really, we try our best, and if we're not doing something good enough, or if we've, you know, if we've overlooked something that you feel that is important, I think it's really important to be able to contact your midwife either by text. I mean, I always tell my ladies, I say, you're lucky if you get me to answer my phone, and the reason for that is I'm either in clinic and I struggle to concentrate on 2 things at once, and that's just the way I work. But I won't answer the phone if I'm in clinic. I obviously can't answer the phone if I'm driving, and I don't answer the phone unless I'm on call, if I'm in somebody's house and it might be important. Otherwise, you know, I don't always get back immediately, and there are the phone numbers. You should have phone numbers that you can contact. So where I work, you're under the care of almost like gynecology up until 18 weeks. So theoretically, if you had a problem with your pregnancy before 18 weeks, you'd go and see your GP, or, you know, maybe contact your midwife and she'd be able to direct you to gynecology services. Now that might be different in your trust.
I think for a lot of hospitals, from what I've spoken to people, you just get referred to early pregnancy unit.
That's right.
So
yeah.
And being at a birth centre, if anything like does come up, because a birth centre is run by all midwives, there's no doctors. Obviously, any concerns that you've got has to go to the hospital anyway.
So, Antonia, grateful to have you again and be able to contact you regardless. Well, I'm going to be catching up with you, Antonia. I hope you're all right.
You're lucky. That's why.
I'm lucky. All my ladies are really nice. They're all really, really sweet. I'm really proud to take my students into clinic because they're all so nice. So anyway, what I was telling you is that you should have on your bits of paper, and in our trust, most of the information's online. So see if they can point you in the direction. Becky, I'm gutted I'm in Morecambe now and won't have you when I have another baby. Oh, Becky. I'm sure you're going to have the most amazing midwife, Becky. Hi, Sally. Grandma, Claire and Charles. Woo! I can get excited. You were saying, oh, you're not excited. You're not excited. Well, I've got more excited now, because it's just because you've got that extra worry. And I worry because I can't see you. And you're telling me these things that, in my eyes, the way you've told me is questionable, you know, on whether it's top quality care.
Should we throw it out there? What you're talking about is the bloods, right? So we've not gone into
the blood. So I wanted to ask you about the we use what you call a vacutainer system. So it's like a vacuum system to take bloods, and I've got here because I'm going to show you what we use. So routine booking bloods, we take 2 gold ones, and they're usually, the gold tops are for a variety of things, but they're usually for infectious diseases, and then this purple one is what we call your full blood count. So it will check your hemoglobin level at booking, because there are some tests that are really important, and you know, there's sickle cell and thalassemia as well. And they will ask you what ethnicity mum and dad are from, because it's different prevalence in different ethnicities. But also this one here, the pink one for us in our trust, is what we call a group and save. So that will tell us what your blood group is, and that's really important, because if you were ever to need a blood transfusion, and they should ask you at booking if you agree for you and your baby to have a blood transfusion. Did they ask you that? Yeah. So they have to document if, for example, you're Jehovah's Witness and you don't agree to have a blood transfusion. So we take another set of routine bloods at 28 weeks, and we do your blood group again. Now your blood group's not going to change, but they're checking for unusual antibodies as well. So you're booking full blood count. Very often people say, oh, that's your iron levels, or it's your hemoglobin levels, but it's increased iron that helps you produce more hemoglobin. So sometimes that drops a little bit, and that's what, if it drops too much, that's when the people say that you're becoming anemic and you might have to take some more iron tablets. Now, so what we would do, so what I would do if I was looking after you, is I would take, we're really expected, it's best practice to take those booking bloods before 10 weeks, right? So we should have all the booking bloods back 10 weeks with your hemoglobin level, all your infectious diseases, your blood group and save, and we send off a routine urine sample. Did they manage to get that one?
Yeah.
So they managed to get the
Yeah.
so Charlie's been for her bloods taken. Did they take that on at the 7-week one? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how many times, Charlie, have you been back already because the blood tests have been, what's been the problem? What have they said that's been the problem with them?
So I got a call a week later saying I think 2 of them had clotted. And obviously, like, I have my bloods taken on a regular basis for my thyroid. That's never happened, so I don't really know what that's about. Then obviously go give my extra bloods. That's fine. Then I got a call, I think about a week and a half later, saying that one of them had been labelled wrong. So can I go back and get that one done again? Then I got another call saying that another one had clotted about a week later. And I'm assuming it's like the week cycle in terms of like how long it takes to get it to the lab tested and obviously results back, because it was always around like a week and a bit mark that I'd get a call. So all in all, I've probably been like 4 times for my bloods. They've retaken them 3 times. But actually, like, obviously, you know, because as we were talking today, I actually got a call. So bearing in mind I'm 16 weeks now, I had a call to say, okay, come back, we need to redo. I guess it's the HB one, the hemoglobin, iron. But the bizarre thing is, you know, I think maybe before our 12-week scan, I've been told that all my bloods were fine, and there was just, I think, yeah, all my bloods were fine. But then I remember about a day before my 12-week scan, they rang me and said, "Oh, we're missing a blood thing for you." Which obviously I'm like, well, has something gone wrong, or did you just not take it? And it was the sickle cell and thalassemia one. That asked me to pick up a leaflet and take it to the hospital and let them take it. But I forgot to do it, in all honesty. I did mention it when I was at the hospital, and the woman who was taking my bloods for, I think when you have like your screening, that's what they're for, isn't it, when you're there, for like the Downs, Patos and Edwards and whatever. And I mentioned that it hadn't been done, and she was like, well, they are going to do it though, aren't they, because it needs doing. And I've just sort of like nervously laughed. So yeah, I'm at 16 weeks. I've still not had the sickle cell and thalassemia one. I've been told today that another one needs redoing. So I don't know. I think when, like I say, when you're in a position where you feel quite vulnerable anyway and quite up and down with your emotions, to know that somebody's getting something wrong so many times and doesn't seem to have an issue with it, it really put me on edge. I'm not gonna lie, I had a bit of a breakdown last night, you know.
Right. Well, the thing is, the thing to say is that we have certain rules and about how the lab accepts bloods, and these ones we can stick a address, a graph label on them that's printed. So you might have had some of those stickers, but this one in our trust, the lab expects it to be handwritten. So it's quite difficult to write on these bottles, and it has to be neat and legible. And if anything is wrong on them, so if they spelt your name wrong, they've put 1 N in instead of 2, they put your name down as what you call yourself instead of what's on your notes, that will get rejected. And I've had these rejected before, but not very often. And what tends to happen is, you know, it's human error. So to say that we never make mistakes is, you know, it's just not true. However, you know, if it's something that I've done wrong and my mistake, obviously it's awful to have to ring up the woman and say, look, I'm really, really sorry. And that's number one thing that should happen, is that somebody should say, look, I'm really sorry, I've made a mistake or whatever. And for me, it's just not good practice to try and pretend, you know, because most people are really, really, you know, all right with the fact that you've made a mistake and, you know, you're just really sorry, because people do make mistakes and things do get missed, and you know, you forget or you spell something wrong or whatever, or something weird happens. But the thing that bothers me, Charlie, is the fact that you have had your booking appointment, you're now 16 weeks, you haven't got all the blood tests back, and I can honestly, hand on heart, say that I've only had to go back to do extra blood tests because of my own mistake once. Not 4 times. 4 times.
Well,
If any midwives are you know, are watching this at the moment, feel free to comment, because I think I just don't understand. I don't understand. And, you know, these ones here, you can see in the bottom of that tube. So that's the stuff that stops it clotting. So there's a certain order that you should take them in. But these ones, I'm not sure whether, as far as I know, they all have something in them. So you can see at the bottom of there's not much in, but there is little bits in these bottles that are supposed to stop them from clotting. So did they use a system like this? So that needle goes on there like that, and then these go inside there like that.
Yeah, I think so.
So is the colour of the tubes familiar?
Yeah, I'll be lying if I say I remember what, like, obviously after talking to you, I probably would know what they were if I knew what they were before I went, but trying to back to what it was, I don't really remember. But yeah, they look so similar,
because you have different kinds of vacutainer systems, but you know, I know we've already chatted, but I think if it's just, I just don't understand, and you know, it's not helpful. It's really not helpful to criticize people. It's really not. It's not going to make you care any better if you know, you're just having a go all the time. But you do deserve a certain level of, I would say, respect, you know, because this thing that gets stuck in your arm, it doesn't feel nice, you know.
Well, I have to remember, I didn't 2 of them I didn't get in my arm. I had them in my hands because they couldn't get them. They couldn't get them out of my arm, so they stuck them in my hands. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got a big fat vein there that they took it out of twice. Yeah, so I feel like, yeah, the blood thing just knocks my, like, confidence in, you know, I know it seems like a weird association to make, but you think if somebody can make that many mistakes with taking bloods, which is like what you say is supposed to be something that they do on a daily basis for all the women, I just think, well, like, how can I be confident that not all of these normal things are going to go wrong when I have my baby? So it has been a little bit of a wobble, and I think as well, like, you don't really feel like you're in a position to be able to complain or like say I don't think that's right.
Why?
Because you don't really know. You don't really know, like, is that how it always is for everybody? Like, is that how everybody gets treated? Is that normal? Like, and obviously not everybody has a midwife as a mum to be like, right, okay, that isn't normal. And also because they're the people that are responsible for bringing your baby into the world and stuff like that, you kind of feel a bit like, I don't want to piss them off. Like, I don't want them to, like, I don't know, I don't want them to think I'm saying that they're doing a bad job. And really, they're the ones that know what they're doing. I don't really have a clue what should be happening.
I think you have had it's been difficult, and I think that it's not unreasonable to ask them for just a little bit of clarification on a few things, because you can't do anything now about the blood test, and it's I don't know. I think you've just been extremely unlucky, and it's just been, I've never ever known somebody need to have the bloods taken 4 or potentially 5 times because you've still not had them. So five attempts at getting the booking bloods right. Maybe somebody could say, oh, well, it's because of this or it's because of that, or I don't know. So I can't.
Somebody actually that, but no one's saying it's because of X. there's just saying, oh, it needs doing. Like, so when the woman rang me today, she just said, I can't tell you why it needs redoing. I just need to pass the message on. And I think that's the thing, like, especially at the moment, you can tell that they're busier, and you almost feel like you're a burden asking questions, because that's how they treat you. Like, definitely the ones that I've spoken to, it's like, the woman said to me on the phone, she was like, well, I'm just about to head out to the hospital with a woman who's having a baby. And I said to Mike, like, the thing that I could liken it to is like, if you're running out of your house and the house phone rings, you don't stop and answer the phone, you go. If you're in a rush, you go. So if you're that busy and that rushed, why stop to make a phone call to me to give me half the information that I need? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, if you're going to tell me that I need bloods redoing for a fifth time, at least tell me why they need redoing. Is it because you messed up on the labels again? Is it because you didn't send it off? Is it because, you know, I don't know, like, and that's the thing that's difficult, because you kind of just feel like they just go, well, it just needs doing. And you go, right, okay.
From what you've told me, I think the thing that needs just tying up is you need somebody to look at your care as a whole, because it may just be that somebody's been given a stack of blood results to go through and phone you and just tell you, and that's all that they think that they need to do. But maybe that one person doesn't know that you've had your bloods taken already 4 times for the same thing. And actually, if somebody looks at it and says, it's a bit shoddy, this, isn't it? It's a bit shoddy, it's not really fair. And I personally, I think the least that somebody could have done was to apologise. And, you know, maybe all because you've had different people just think, oh, it's just one of those things. You've had it, somebody's just made a mistake.
Oh,
so
definitely, it definitely is that. But then that's what I mean. I feel like if you're ringing me and you've got my file up, like, you surely should be able to see that I've come back and done this, and, you know, what happened last year.
You can't always see, because if somebody's been given a set of blood results to check, they go onto the computer and the lab doesn't always, all it'll just say is rejected, sample rejected. It doesn't always tell somebody what's gone on or whatever, you know, so sometimes it is a little bit difficult. But I think what you need to do is almost try and gain that trust back, and, you know, be able to explain to somebody that, you know, you just feel that it's, you know, it's just been really hard for you to just be sort of everybody saying, well, you need your bloods taken. You know, it's almost like you've had a set of bloods done more than once a week, you know. So why would you not in the end say, well, do you know what will make me have these bloods taken and for it not to be rejected again? I don't understand. I think somebody needs to, and people do make mistakes, but somebody needs to be able to give you the confidence that they're going to take those bloods. And are you sure that we don't need any more bloods? Because
well, I've definitely said that to them before, and that's what I mean. I feel like you just kind of go, right, okay, right, fine. I've just lost all confidence, and I feel like it's quite scary when you get to that point in, you know, as a first time mum, to have lost all confidence by week 16 in your midwife. I feel like, and I don't think I'm the only person that happens to. And you know, it's a combination of things like, I know we've kind of spent a lot of time talking about the bloods, but when I had my 12-week appointment, and it said, my midwife had said, like, oh, you know, your next appointment will be written on the back, and it wasn't. I rang my birth centre and I said, oh, I've not got an appointment, and they said, oh, well, she'll be in touch. So I left it for another week or two, and then I rang back and I said, right, I've not heard anything, like, am I supposed to have an appointment being booked in? So now I've got an 18-week appointment booked in, but then again, like, after speaking to friends who've also had babies or are having babies or pregnant or whatever, it seems like the norm is 16 weeks. So yeah, just like, you know, again, you kind of think, you know, am I being booked at 18 weeks because someone's forgot to book me at 16 weeks the way that they've forgotten everything else? So there's that. And then obviously I mentioned to you, I had just 2 random letters come through in the post about additional scans. Nothing had ever been mentioned to us, not at the hospital, not at the booking appointment, not any phone calls, nothing. And there were additional growth scan appointments. Obviously I spoke to you and you said, oh, like they're nothing to worry about. But you know, when you go on the NHS website, because you haven't got a midwife to talk to because they're too busy or they're not available, and it says that the only reason why people typically get those scans is if there's a concern that your baby's too big or too small or whatever. And I'm thinking, well, we've only had a 12-week scan. Like, why has nobody told me if they think that there's a problem? And again, I know like you've obviously done your best to try and reassure me, but one, it's not your job to do that. It's my midwife's job. And two, you kind of think, well, why is nobody telling me anything? And I think that's like, obviously, I don't know, the peak part of like where my frustrations come from at 16 weeks, to feel like I've got very little information. Like, I don't really know what to expect now for the rest of my pregnancy. I don't know when I'm supposed to have appointments, how often they're going to be, if they're going to be with the same person, if I'm going to be split between my birth centre and the hospital, because that seems to be what's happening.
I'm just what Sally's put here, but I can't. Can you see my? In Preston always seems to have her slightly later than ever did in Lancaster. Right, okay. She said, what? I can't. How do I get this comment on? She said she was told that Preston was busier than Lancaster. Well, you're not in Preston, but I don't know. But my advice to you is, I think you're just going to have to be persistent in getting somebody to listen to you. And write down, I always say to my ladies, write down in a notebook the things that you want to know, because in our booking packs, on the back of the blue card that we give ladies, is the schedule of scans and visits. But you know, it's a shame somebody hasn't explained to you about growth scans. So I've explained, as far as I know, what that's for, and it's pretty routine. And you know, if you've got a BMI over 30, they'll send you for growth scans because they just tend to be more accurate. So it isn't because they think that anything's wrong. So I hope you feel reassured. And I can't remember what I was going to say now. Can't remember. But so the things that you want to know are, you want them to tell you what the schedule of appointments is. Also, when they take your next bloods, so you know, and what they're for. But also, I want you to ask them about how they manage their caseload. So, are you going to get a named midwife? And I wouldn't be frightened in saying that, you know, you've not been overly confident with the service that you've got at the moment. And I know people are really busy, and you know, but you're still allowed to have a baby, and you still can expect to have a positive experience. And you know, I don't think that's too much to ask. I think, like you're, you know, and all our ladies, that, you know, the patient, you know, the patient with us, because they know that we've been busy. We've had quite a busy period where I work, and you know, as long as people know where they stand, and you know, like some of my ladies wait a little bit longer in clinic, and it's because I want everybody to have what it is they need. And then if somebody just has a bit of a meltdown or whatever, then they might need a little bit longer. And you know, if everybody is entitled to good care, you know. And I just feel really sad for you that I can't just come there and do your bloods myself and send them off. You know, it's so frustrating, you know. Have you told them yet your mum was a midwife?
No.
Well, that's up to you. But if you do tell them, I'm guessing that your service might be different, which is a shame really, because it shouldn't matter who you are. Everybody should get the same level of care really. And it's a job that it shouldn't be that hard to show a bit of compassion, but It's difficult, isn't it, when people are busy? Hiya, Mike. Is he there?
What, in the room?
Yeah.
No,
Who are you
he's
looking
not.
at then?
You.
Oh, right. Right. Is there anything else? Oh, is there anything else you want me to ask before I show something nice of you?
Oh gosh. No, I just I'm hoping that the next few weeks are going to be nicer. I think like the only thing that I would say is like the things that I didn't realize about pregnancy was you kind of have it in your head that you're going to feel a certain way. Like you obviously know yourself well enough as a person, and you think, oh, like I'm positive, I'm active. You know, like in November, I think I ran like 50 miles, like as part of like a challenge. And then come being pregnant through December and January, like I really, really struggled to get out and be active. And that really like got me down because I just thought, great, I'm putting on weight. I don't look pregnant. I can't go out running. I just feel like utter shit. And obviously you're
Please
in
do
that.
not swear.
Oh yeah,
No
sorry.
swearing.
You're in that early stage where you're already feeling anxious about everything. I feel like that's just the worst. So I think one of the things that I've realised is like I thought I'd be running all the way through my pregnancy. I thought I'd be one of those people that you see on Instagram that like runs with like their shorts on and their like tight tank top with their belly in it and stuff. But yeah, I just don't think that's going to happen. Like when I've been running in January and February, I've had really, really bad lower back pain from it. And I thought, well, you'd only get lower back pain if surely you had like a big belly. But apparently mine's big enough to give me a lot of back pain.
It's more
So
to ligaments and stuff and the changes in your
but
body.
it like you massively underestimate what a toll it takes on your body, and I just didn't think it would be like that. I don't know what I thought it was going to be like.
Will, you'll be all right.
But yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that because for anybody that's like feeling really, really, not going to say the word, but really poo, don't be so hard on yourself because whatever you expected, it's not going to be that. It's going to be the opposite, most likely.
Well, the only way's up from now, isn't it? With your so you need to sort your midwives out, Charlie.
No, well, the good thing is though is that I think like I can understand why people get so upset when their birth plans don't go like as they'd planned, because I think again like you're in such a vulnerable state that you fixate on things a little bit and you kind of take security in knowing what's going to happen. And I think because like in my head I've been like, right, I'm going to have my baby at this birth center, this is how it's going to work, this is going to be my midwife. The thought of potentially that changing has been really distressing, but I think like we'd said last night, the most important thing is not where you have your baby, it's the care that you get. So like after speaking with Mike about it, it was just like, you know, we need to just go wherever you're going to have like the best experience. So yeah, I can see why people get really distressed over that because I did last night.
Oh, Amanda, pregnancy is awful, but you think about the ending and it's so worth it. And then you have twins in a section. Sally, you've got gorgeous girls, Sally. But I think the important thing before we leave it is I think you keep your options open. And you know it's not easy now to look around birth centres and hospitals and units, but what you've got in your mind might not be what's actually on offer, and it might be that the hospital that's an alternative might have more pools, or you have your baby 10 weeks earlier and it's all thrown out the window. Oh, bless you, Brittany. I was convinced I was having a C-section from the start and ended up with one. Oh, bless you, Becky. It's hard, isn't it? It's so hard. So it's good to talk. It's good to talk and support each other, and it's good for midwives to know some of the little things that maybe we take for granted. But I certainly think you need to, now you've had not the most amazing experience so far, that you turn it around and, you know, get to grips with the fact that you might not know where you're going to have your baby, or or what's going to happen, because we haven't got a crystal ball. But say, well, maybe I could have a look at, you know, what this hospital's like, and, you know, because I don't know what's going on, you know, with where you've already been dealt with. Oh, Amanda, I've got 7 weeks left and it's dragging so much. How many weeks have you got left, Charlie?
More than 7. But I'm here for the hair growth. My hair's really thick at the moment. This is probably like the fastest that it's grown in about 5 years. Well, actually, no, probably about 10 years.
Have you got a hairy belly?
No, I haven't yet, but I've started to get more hairs on my neck, I'm not going to lie. So, yeah. Shout out to the hairy mothers.
That's all right. You might not get hairy, but I've seen quite a lot of ladies in clinic today that have been putting like bio oil on their bellies and like no stretch marks. So I don't know whether that actually works, but
I think it's just if you keep your skin hydrated, isn't it? If you keep your skin hydrated, it's less likely to tear. It's more likely to stretch rather than tear.
Yeah, you see. Very well done. You should always drink plenty of water. Enjoy it. It'll all fall out when it's full.
Commenting, by the way, the one that had the baby 10 weeks earlier than what she was supposed to. So I'm hoping that I'm going to surpass her 30-week mark. That's the goal.
Oh, it's not nice. It's so difficult when you're a baby early. So hard. But anyway, I hope things get a little bit more positive, and you'll keep me updated, won't you? We won't schedule when we're doing this. It'll just be when we feel like it. What do you reckon? And we'll just plan it.
Yeah. You know, they will be moaning about booking bloods. So I'm hoping by like, I don't know, the next few weeks. So I have an appointment at 18 weeks, which is obviously in 2 weeks' time. And then I have the gender scan.
Oh, somebody was asking earlier, are you going to find out what you're having?
Yeah, so we're going to find out. I feel like there's been enough surprises the last year, really. Come on.
Right.
So, yeah. Yeah, and also I feel like there's a weird thing when people ask you, "Oh, are you finding out what the gender is?" and you say, "Yeah," they're like, "Oh, why?" It's like, well, why not? I think there's like a lot of people that are like, "Does it matter?" And I'm like, "No, but if you can find out, why would you not want to?"
But, so you think you're having?
I want to have a girl, but Mike wants a boy, obviously. So I don't really care what we have, but yeah, I think for a lot of our friends have got like boys and stuff, so it'd be nice to throw a girl into the mix, but equally as nice for a boy. I don't think you really care, do you, what you're getting?
No, it's just still a bit surreal. So Zena thinks it's Zena, who's my younger sister, who's just had a baby. She thinks it's hilarious that so your mum can make you a sock teddy and stocking. I will probably be making a Christmas stocking for this baby. I'll be sick of making sock teddies by then. I will be sick and fed up of making sock teddies. Anyway, I just wanted to leave you all with this beautiful picture. Is this your first grandchild, Claire? Yes. I'm only 47. I'm too young to be Nana Crank.
You're nearly 50.
I'm not nearly 50. I'm not nearly 50. How's that nearly 50? 43 I am.
You're on the wrong side of 45. Let's have it straight.
Right.
Go on. Embarrassing picture. I'm going to show everyone of me. Come on. Oh my God.
Oh, that's Charlie when she was a baby, having a bath.
I look like I've got no neck.
He was always laughing like that. He's always laughing. So that's...
Did I have a lot when I was born? I feel like my baby's going to have a lot of hair when it's born.
You didn't have loads of hair, but you always had a bruise on your head. Oh, look at your nose, hasn't changed, has it?
No, probably not. No, and these like weird little lines are still there. But yeah. Right, let's stop cooing over baby Charlie. Look at her.
I'm going to find some more.
Okay.
But I had some dodgy haircuts when I had you, though, so...
I know, yeah, so be prepared to have it right back.
No, not only that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, my hair couldn't look any worse tonight, could it? It's because I went out shopping. It was pouring down.
Right. Is this the end of Chat with Charl, episode 1?
Yeah, this is the end. I had really bad heartburn with my little girl, and they said it was a sign of lots of hair, but she was born with no hair.
Burn and no hair.
Oh, no.
That's not really fair, that is it?
Oh, you love your baby, whatever it comes out like, bald or with a wig on. Right.
Oh, God. Right, well, we'll see you again soon. All of you.
Right, thanks for talking to me, Charley. I love you, I miss you.
Love you. Bye.
Right, bye everybody. She's gone. That's what she does. She goes, right, I'm going back. Right, so bye everybody. Hope that chat was helpful. And hopefully as Charley goes through her pregnancy, we can highlight some stuff and you guys can interact and let me know if there's anything you can ask yourself anyway. Right, that's the end. See you soon. Bye. So we're doing normal live on Friday. A couple of days away. So see you soon. Night night. Take care. Bye.